And now we have with us a super talented creative director, DJ, music producer, fashion designer, and cartoonist extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, Matheos Sprague.
Hello.
Matheos, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You are an amazing, amazing guy. You do so many wonderful things, and when I first met you, I'm like, we got to talk about this guy. This guy has to come on the show because you are the secret success behind many of these fashion labels that are out there. And you are a graduate of Parsons School of Design.
Yep.
And you were working with Marc Jacobs.
In the beginning.
And then once you graduated, you were immediately picked up by Escada.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about how does it feel to begin designing right out of design school with all these wonderful designers?
It was a great pleasure. I mean, I was very fortunate that they chose me, and I always wanted to work in Europe. So when Escada chose me to go to Munich, Germany, you know, that wasn't the first place I was thinking, but I thought, hey, it's Europe. So I was able to go to Munich, and Escada is such a big, luxurious company, and it was a great experience because I was able to design the whole collection. Not normally out of Parsons or a fashion school, they have you do like one category, like, you know, dresses or jeans or tops, but I was able to do on the whole collection right from the beginning. And that's what I really liked, all the way from couture to casual wear.
That's amazing. And you also launched their Escada Sport line.
Yeah. That was, my general style is more casual, and I love the idea of mixing casual with luxury. So while I was there, I did a little denim group, a little bit luxury, and we just called it Escada Sport. It was supposed to be just a little delivery, but it just blew up, and it became a whole separate line.
Oh my God.
So it felt good that it was a success from the beginning.
Well, you were so talented that Escada gave you all this freedom.
Yeah.
Just design.
That was cool.
Tell me about when you work for these big labels such as the Marc Jacobs and Tommy Hilfiger and Escada that you have worked for. Do they give you the direction, or do they say, just give me what you got?
Well, that was what was great about working from the beginning with such a company, because I come up with the concepts from the very beginning, from color all the way to the final product and the fashion show and making sure everything is perfect. And you think of concepts and, you know, the future trends, and you sort of incorporate it. What relates to the brand as well is very important, because, you know, Escada and Tommy Hilfiger are very different.
Completely different, yeah. So you're like the Tommy girl or the Tommy boy, because you also design men.
Yes.
Is a different type of person than the Escada woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And the Marc Jacob.
Yes.
But you're not only a talented fashion designer, you are also into music.
Yes.
So tell us about your music career, because it was also happening during the time that you were studying to be a designer.
Yeah. Well, I was DJing and mixing when I was in high school, doing, you know, high school parties and remixing mixtapes, stuff like that. Then I went to Parsons and just focused on fashion. And when I got back from Germany, and I was working with Tommy Hilfiger, a friend of mine who's an opera singer, we started working on music together. And I started going to the studio and realizing, you know, I could do some fun stuff. And I started mixing some Greek with New York hip hop, mixing it up, rebetika, you know, and just for fun, you know. And I had the pleasure of meeting Patricia Field. And I gave her one of my CDs of the Greek New York mix, and she loved it, reacted very well. And she had me DJ one of her parties here in New York. And, you know, I wasn't DJing for a while, since high school. So I just played stuff that I'd mix in the studio. And it actually got a great reaction. Everybody loved it, and it was so much fun. And from then on, I DJ'd a lot of her parties. And I came across being able to meet Anna Visi through Pat, and we did a production together, which was great.
Which one did you do?
We did. She heard my rebetika hip hop mix, so we did Pente Χρόνια Δικασμένος on her Απαγορευμένο album, and then she asked me to do her remix album. So we took different songs and did a remix.
And you've worked and produced for many other Greek artists, like Going Through, 48 Hours, Alexia, and Vandi.
Yes.
And Miss Elliott.
Yeah.
Missy Elliott.
Missy Elliott's great. I did a song a few years ago called I'm Really Hot. And, you know, that was a really cool little success there. Maybe something in the future, but that was just something a few years ago.
I like that you can just switch on and off. I mean, you are an artist in every respect, from, you know, with your music and with your designs. And going back to fashion, you also had the honor of working with and dressing Princess Diana.
Yes, that was amazing. I mean, at the time, I had just done, like, remember earlier I said I like to come up with concepts. And the elephant is one of my favorite animals. So I did a little safari elephant group with sketching the print and designing the whole collection. And she loved it, so she wore like the whole outfit. And it became a little bit of a controversy because she was supposed to wear only British designers at the time.
Scandal!
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's not wearing a British designer.
Yeah. So I came across,
feverish.
I mean, this was before Facebook and all that stuff. And I came across the images of her wearing the outfit, which I thought was great.
How was it working with her?
She was very nice, very, very nice. I only met her once, but, you know, totally different world.
How is it working? A fashion industry can get very catty, as the music industry.
Yes, yes.
How has your experience been with Marc Jacobs, with the Escada Group, and with Tommy Hilfiger?
That's a good question. Well, Marc was very, very, this was in his early days at Perry Ellis, and he was actually really down to earth, super cool. We became friends, so he was really cool. Escada was a different world because all the designers there were British, and I was the only American. I was just out of school and is in Germany. It's very different. So that was challenging for me. But luckily, you know, you just put in the good work and it prevails. Now when I came back to New York for Tommy Hilfiger, that was, I feel a little bit more at home because New York is my city and Tommy Hilfiger was a bit more American sportswear, which is, now I'm currently the creative director for Izod, which is very Americana. And
Izod's changing. You have changed it up.
Yeah,
Is that you? Did you do that?
Well, we're doing a new denim line, and it's really exciting.
It's very cool and hip again.
Yeah,
Izod.
we're totally
Made a big comeback.
revamping it. Yeah.
Good.
A lot of
well,
color.
now we know why the Greek designer here is the reason behind Izod's comeback. This is fantastic. And what inspires you when you design? Where do you look for inspiration?
I look at things that are not so typical. Sometimes in my travels, if I see some interesting color mix of architecture or colorways, I also look for the future, maybe a future trend or technology. But it's always important to remember the classics and what people will really wear. You know, I admire avant-garde designers a lot, and that's fun. It's really fun. But
niche.
But it's niche, exactly. And you have to really think about what the woman or the man is really going to wear. You work
with the coutures and you work with the mass.
Yes.
What do you think a label needs to become successful?
It needs sort of a pyramid effect. I remember Tommy taught me that, actually. And, you know, your pyramid, you got the top. It's just very common sense. You know, your top of the pyramid is very eye-catching editorial looks that will really stand out. Your middle is sort of the fashionable and more current. And then the bottom, the base of your company should be really the basics and what people will really buy. Good price,
right.
You know.
You have the luxury of designing for men and for women, and that is difficult for a designer. A designer takes, like you said, they choose one department
Yes.
to work in.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see fashion today? How are people dressing?
Well, one thing that's important is quality, because in this day and age, you buy something, you really either want to wear it for many times, and people don't say, oh, he had that on last season, you know what I mean? Or price. Companies like H&M, Uniqlo, those are companies that are just offering quick fashion for a really good price. So I think value for your money is really the name of the game right now.
And the name of the game for you is not only fashion, going back to music. You have a lot of great songs that we're going to hear now. We're going to close off with Matheos' wonderful remixes. Where can someone buy your music?
iTunes. Unfortunately, the record stores have closed, so it's all digital. You can go on iTunes, pretty much, Amazon. A lot of my music's on there.
And in closing, you have been born and raised in Texas, but you lived in Greece a lot?
No, actually, I was born in Texas, but raised all over the place. I was kind of an army brat, and my mom is from Thessaloniki, and she still lives there. So I'm fortunate to have such a great, strong Greek mother and the Greek roots. And Thessaloniki and New York, I consider my home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And do you want to give a message to all those aspiring DJs and designers, artists, aspiring artists?
Do what you love, because eventually things will happen. As long as you're happy doing what you want to do, that's what you should do.
Exactly. And Matteo is definitely doing what he wants to do, and we're lucky because we get to wear his stuff and listen to his music. So look out for Matteo. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to hear one of his cool, super cool remixes.
Who rocks mics till they up and swell, son? It's just another fact of life for me, really.